topic number 4. The 49ers are still the best team in the NFC West after the Jamal Adams trade. Leo.
Here we go.
Absolutely. Because how I look at it is which team could win in the playoffs. The 49ers showed that for a team that was the first time in their playoffs as a whole under Shanahan, and they still went out and dominated the playoffs. The other team that I would say is up there with the 49ers, according to roster, is going to be the Saints. And do I trust Drew Brees down the stretch in the playoffs to be 100% as he was weeks 1 through 10? Probably not. He showed it deteriorate at the end of the season, and they lost to a Minnesota Viking team that got completely dominated by the 49ers. So absolutely still the best team in the NFC.
Okay.
I'm absolutely buying. I'm doubling down like when I see a face card in blackjack. All right. So this is no brainer. And you're right, Leo. Drew Brees' arm does fall off in the second half of the season. So I wouldn't even worry about him too much. It's really just the Saints as a competitor. Seattle obviously does make it more an increasing matchup to keep an eye out for, which I'm excited to watch. I hope that game doesn't get canceled. Fingers crossed everyone's healthy for that one. But of course it's the 49ers still. Seahawks bridge the gap more, of course, to make them maybe can throw an extra jab or two, a nice little haymaker. But they still aren't gonna sniff the 49ers territory. I know they were neck and neck with them for a good part, the whole season pretty much.
Yep.
But it's still hard for me to see that Seattle really, just because of Jamal Adams. I mean, you lost Clowney, who pretty much was the real difference maker in that Week 10 matchup that made them lose. And if anything, it's still the 49ers are the king of the NFC West.
Yep. I'm buying. The NFC West runs through the 49ers. The NFC Conference as a whole runs through the 49ers. I believe that they're just so complete. And when you look at last year, Jimmy Garoppolo is only going to get better. I believe Kyle Shanahan's only going to get better as a play caller. Kyle Shanahan is what I get most about when talking about the future of the 49ers, which is so weird because I'm just so used to getting excited over players. Now it's Kyle Shanahan. I can't wait to see what he does moving forward, and just comparing him to other coaches around the NFC. But the 49ers are complete, can do it on both sides of the ball, beat you with the defense, beat you with the offense. I'm buying, simply put, with everybody else.
I'm buying as well, but I think it is pretty close. The only thing is, on paper, the 49ers are significantly better than the Seahawks. But the Seahawks have Russell Wilson, and as long as you have him, you're going to be a contender. I just don't know if they'll be able to play as much like miracle ball, where they're just in all these tight games and continue to squeak it out. So with that, I'll give it to the 49ers.
And Nick, who's the defensive coordinator for the Seahawks? Our boy Ken Norton. So come on, we sure he's gonna even know what he's doing back there half the time? Come on.
Pete Carroll runs it, but
that's true.
I get what you're saying.
I mean, I think it was a clean sweep so far on buying, right? And I mean, I have to agree. I think, like Nick said, Russell Wilson's the only thing that really keeps it close this year. But the bigger question is for 2021, because there's a lot of guys on both sides that could be gone, and that will be debated next year. But if Kittle, Salah, and Jamal Adams are still there.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to sell. I'm the one person that's not buying.
I knew it.
And the way I look at it, Leo, you made a great point. Sorry. Yeah, I'm predictable. Leo, you made a great point on how the Niners played better against the rest of the league than the Seahawks did last year. That's a good way to look at it. The other way to look at it is how they played against each other. And they split, and those two games went down to the final play both times. Like, really, you couldn't have closer games. So I think the way they match up, they're really close. Clearly, as one of you said, Nick Cothrel said, that the Russell Wilson is the great equalizer. But what I think the reason that Jamal Adams is such an important pickup for them is that the last 4 years, they've been kind of a soft team. I mean, they've been Russell Wilson, who's great, but that defense doesn't scare you. Like, it's a decent defense because Pete Carroll's a genius, but they don't have that guy like Cam Chancellor, who guys are like, oh my God, like he really could hurt me. It's a vicious defense, not just a good defense, a vicious defense. And Jamal Adams is that kind of player. Like, what was the first thing Deebo Samuel tweeted when the Seahawks got Jamal Adams? I'm not scared, right? Mm-hmm. So they finally have that like fear element on their defense, which I think is so crucial to that. They're like the Ravens West. I kind of think of them as. So they have that back, and they still have the quarterback. I think they've significantly improved, and the Niners at best stayed the same. So I think they're neck and neck, and I would give it to the Seahawks just because of their quarterback. So that's me. But the buys had it 5-1. Leo, what's up?
This is what I'll say. You'll say Seahawks because of their quarterback. Well, the 49ers have an offensive genius in Kyle Shanahan there, and with the quarterback, that can get the job done. So how I look at the matchup mainly is the 49ers offense versus Seattle's defense. And, yeah, their secondary may be great, but who's going to get to Jimmy Garoppolo? Like, they could cover guys, but you could only cover guys for so long. And then you have Kyle Shanahan that's able to scheme the routes and scheme guys open. It's going to be a field day for the 49ers.
Leo, that's more great points. All I would say is I think they're not done. I think they're going to get Clowney or someone else. I don't know who it's going to be. They could get Clay Matthews. You wrote that the Niners should get Clay Matthews. They could get Clay Matthews. There are still pass rushers out there, and I think clearly the Seahawks have set a price. Like, we really can't spend more than this. But as time goes on and training camp starts and these guys are still free agents, one of these guys is going to take that deal. So I still think they're not quite done. But that's a good point. It's a little early to put the Seahawks above the Niners until they actually finish their freaking team.